Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner and welcome to your latest Chelsea news, Chelsea transfer news. We've got a lot to talk about in regards to Alejandro Garnacho. These links are not going away. These links are simply not going away. I want to provide my opinion. I want to provide my opinion on this matter because I see a lot of crazy talk that's happening in the social media within the fan base. There's talks in regards to Nicolas Jackson perhaps going towards Man United. That's going to be an interesting topic to talk about. Morgan Rogers, Jorel Hato, ladies and gentlemen, getting linked with Chelsea. But first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I want to kick things off from Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly speaks, ladies and gentlemen. He posts the Club World Cup triumph, the glory of Club World Cup. Todd Boehly sat down with Talk Sports and he had to say quite a lot of things which I feel they're nice and rightly so. Let's have a look at what Todd Boehly had to say. We couldn't have wished for a better outcome for our boys who have done such good work and trained so hard and really came together under Enzo's leadership and direction. I agree, fully agree. I mean, look, right at the end of the season, I mean, we had a really good start to the season, then we had a really bad middle section, and then we finished things off with 6-7 games to go. We really finished things off strongly. We won the Conference League in a very fine manner, and then the way we won the Club World Cup, the way we finished it, it was an absolute statement. And you could see under Enzo Maresca, a lot of these players were maturing and growing and developing into fine players. So I completely agree with that. No one gave us a chance to beat PSG, and the boys thrived and grew on that. I think I agree with that as well. Besides a lot of the Chelsea fan base, and even within the Chelsea fan base, there was a lot of skeptics. But outside of Chelsea fan base, all the rivals, pundits as well, no one really gave us a chance. And I think the players really did thrive on that. They took that energy and used it for their own good. So once again, I agree with what Todd Boehly has said there. Watching them come together has been very special. The form that you have seen is everything we hoped when we were putting this together with Laurence and Paul. Behdad and I couldn't be more grateful for the success that they've had and for all the Chelsea fans everywhere who are so thrilled. Thank you for sticking with us. We're really excited about what the future holds. Now, this is, of course, fantastic speech from Todd Boehly, fantastic achievement as well for the owners. I've said it in recent times. I think over the last couple of months, the right decisions have been made predominantly on and off the ball. We're getting rid of the right players. We're bringing in, I believe, the right type of players. I know Gittins, we'll see exactly how it goes, but it's not like it's an absolutely bad transfer, right? But similarly, we are getting rid of players that we've always needed to get rid of. So, and then on top of that, we seem a lot more calmer. We're not going out there and being erratic about certain decisions off the field. We seem to, all of those other controversial news that used to drop on a regular basis, that sort of stopped over the last few months. And the fact that we've brought in João Pedro as well midway through the tournament, I thought that kind of genius move needs to be praised. Now, I do want to say one thing, though. I see a lot of people on social media talk that, and this is relevant to a lot of the other news that we're going to talk about. I see a lot of people on social media say, oh, look at these content makers, look at these YouTubers, or look at these fans who are so against the ownership and the directors. All of a sudden now they're singing their tune. No, let me make one thing clear. And I'm not going to be like some of the others who are all of a sudden complete praise for the owners. And look, I've done it in recent times in isolation. Our owners and the directors, I can't sit here and forget what transpired in the first season, the way we got rid of Thomas Tuchel, the way all of the other shenanigans of bringing in Graham Potter, bringing in Frank Lampard, dumping the squad with 40-plus players for Graham Potter to manage. I can't forget, our financially, our front of shirt sponsorship wasn't there for the last 2 seasons. Look at all the shenanigans that's taken place over the last few seasons in regards to stadium, the vivid seat controversy that took place. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend every single transfer worked out for us. There's been a lot of nonsense transfers that we've done. It doesn't take that long for us to look back to last summer and the mess we created last summer, which we're trying to rectify now. So all the criticism that we had They were valid. They were valid. I'm not going to be one of those fans that, oh, all of a sudden, all of those criticism isn't valid. No, they were definitely valid. And us fans, if we didn't voice our opinions at that time, I don't think we would be where we are right now. Because if we just stayed quiet and accepted everything, how would one know? For instance, for my parents growing up as a kid, if my parents didn't tell me where I'm going wrong, how can I correct myself? So, right now, the club is correcting themselves, and rightly so. We're sitting here and we're praising the club. But at the same time, I truly believe things that they've done previously were wrong, were absolutely wrong. So, moving forward, the question mark is still on them. I've not sort of let go of the foot from the accelerator. I'm praising the ownership and the directors with the decisions they're making in recent times. It looks like it's rectifying, but we still need to compete for the Premier League next season. We still need to compete for the Champions League next season because that's the standard. That's the standard. I see a lot of people say, oh, a lot of these, Chelsea content makers, as soon as there's a bit of bad form next season, they're going to flip. No, no, no. It's not about bit of bad form. It's about a prolonged period of bad form. That can't be accepted. That never was acceptable. I'm not saying if you lose one or lose two, maximum lose three, but you can't go 3-4 months of bad form because Chelsea Football Club cannot afford to do that. Top clubs don't go in bad form every season, 3 to 4 months. That's what happened to us. December, end of December, January, February, March, and maybe around April, it started to change. It can't happen. So this is why it's very important to stay balanced and realistic. It's not about being positive. It's not about being negative. It's about being realistic. And this, ladies and gentlemen, goes on to the next part of the conversation is this. Chelsea are open to adding wide players with long-term interest in Alejandro Garnacho. Since January, Chelsea also admired Morgan Rogers. Now, this Alejandro Garnacho link is not going away. I see a lot of Chelsea fans are like, Miz, seriously, you're going to complain now? After what we've seen, we're now the world champions. Yes, we're the world champions, and I love it more than anyone, more than you can believe. But Alejandro Garnacho, look, I don't need that type of players. We know this guy's attitude is foul. His brother's a loudmouth. It's not like he's supremely talented. We have a good bunch of players right now. You don't want to add a character like Alejandro Garnacho to disrupt all of that. We must learn from our mistakes. We must. Mistakes we've done last summer. You don't even need to look back that much. Look at the players like João Felix. Look at the players like Renato Veiga. Look at many other players that we bought last summer. And I'm not saying they're bad in terms of attitude, but wrong players will disrupt the whole situation. We don't need Alejandro Garnacho. I truly and sincerely hope that we stay away from this player. And the crazy part is it's probable. Man United, I mean, they obviously want to sell him. That should tell us something, right? Man United wants to get rid of him. No one seems to come for him except for us. He doesn't want to leave anywhere else besides Premier League, which makes me very, very scared and uncomfortable. I just hope that recently the shenanigans that he was putting Aston Villa's shirt, Rashford's name. I mean, this is what you're going to get with Alejandro Garnacho. All sorts of social media foolery. We don't need that. And I hope that his recent stunt of putting the Aston Villa jersey, hopefully he wants to go towards Aston Villa. And maybe if he goes to Aston Villa, we can go for Morgan Rogers. And then, we can perhaps send Nicolas Jackson to Man United. And that's the next story. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about Garnacho. I just don't think this is the right move. It really isn't. And please don't tell me, Miz, these owners and these directors, haven't they shown you in recent times that no. I still have the right for my opinion. And my opinion is he's not the right player. A lot of Chelsea fans are like, oh, we need to get big names. I've never said we need to get big names. Get good players. You would have seen my reaction to getting João Pedro. A lot of Chelsea fans were against João Pedro. Lots. I was probably one of the very few that said, you know what, I watch João Pedro on a regular. People that know me would have known that I watch Brighton a lot. I was quite happy, very, very happy for the fact that we got João Pedro. Right type of experience in the Premier League, good player. I'm not totally surprised the way he's kicked off at Chelsea. So for me, it's not about the big names. It's about the right players with the right experience. Not necessarily even old players. You can be young and have a lot of experience. Alejandro Garnacho, for me, is not the right player. Kudus, for example, was a good opportunity. No problems. We didn't get it. There are other good players out there like that. I don't necessarily have to get the top of the crop, creme de la creme. I don't need to. Not always. Sometimes it's great, but I'm not like that. All right. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Many clubs are keeping an eye on Nicolas Jackson's situation on Chelsea and Man United, among them. Unai Emery is a long-term admirer, gave him his debut at Villarreal. AC Milan keep a keen but gap in valuation. So, look, the whole thing about Nicolas Jackson is I don't mind if he stays. Before everyone jumps the gun, oh, Miz, you're advocating for him to. No. I don't mind if he stays. Problem is, he doesn't want, I feel like, Nicolas Jackson being the starter for the past 2 seasons. All of a sudden, he's probably the number 3 selection behind Delap. Whether you like it or not, Delap is the number 2. Sometimes he might even play number 1. João Pedro as the wide player or inside forward. But right now, it looks like João Pedro is the number 9. Nicolas Jackson is probably become number 3. All right, let's say he's number 2. I don't think Jackson is ready to be a bit part player. He wants to be somewhere where he's an important player. I think this is what we need to understand. So this feeling of Nicolas Jackson wanting to leave, I understand it. I get it. And if Man United wants to pay the right amount of money, look, anywhere between 65 to 70 million, I'm happy. I've seen enough of Nicolas Jackson to say, look, I don't think he's going to become that level of a striker. I think he's good. I'm not worried if he goes to Man United. I don't think he elevates Man United to a different stratosphere. No. AC Milan, I would have liked him to go to AC Milan. I think Serie A, he would have killed it. But in Serie A, they don't have enough money. So if Man United can bring 65 to 70 million, I'm all ready for that. Absolutely all ready for that. And if he wants to go to Aston Villa as well, same thing. Do us a deal. Nicolas Jackson to Aston Villa, Morgan Rogers to Chelsea Football Club. I'm all happy for that. I think Morgan Rogers would be a fantastic addition to what we have right now. It makes sense. Players that are versatile in many positions. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about that transfer situation. More in regards to Nicolas Jackson. Manchester United are monitoring Nicolas Jackson. I love it. Man United, Arsenal, love it. Good customers. They want to pay good money for our players. Players that we've seen enough to say that, yeah, you're not good enough at Chelsea Football Club anymore. There's a bit about Nicolas Jackson. He's a good player, but he's not clinical. Is he going to become clinical over the years? I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea have held fresh talks for Hato, who can play centre-back or left-back. A transfer is expected to cost around 14 million, coming from Ben Jacobs. Look, we definitely need cover for Cucurella, someone who can play LCB, someone who can play left-back, someone who could potentially even bomb up and down as a left winger. And I think Gerald Hato can definitely do that. Something around 40 million pounds would be excellent purchase. Hopefully we get this done. This is an important piece of the puzzle that we need to make sure we have for next season. We don't want to go to next season with no backups for Cucurella, or we are doing some makeshifts with Reece James and Malo Gusto. Let's not do makeshifts. Let's have a proper backup who can play on the left side equally as good as Cucurella. If not as good, but at least at 80 to 90% good. Hato has the experience of playing in the LCB position and as a left back position, and he's got enough experience as a young player. See that this is the type of experience I'm talking about. Young and has abundance of experience in Europe and playing at Ajax at the highest level. This is the kind of experience I have no issues about. So let's see what happens. I think we've got our eyes on Gerald Hato. Hopefully this happens. It's very important that we get that sorted for next season, because Cucurella will need the break here and there with a lot of matches that's coming up next season as well. Next up, Bayern Munich are interested in Christopher Nkunku and Renato Veiga. Look, I say let's move on as well, because World Cup season coming up, I don't see Nkunku. Look, I've got no problems if Nkunku stays though. Is he okay to be a rotational player? That's the thing, because World Cup season coming up, Nkunku would want to play a lot of minutes. Renato Veiga wants to play a lot of minutes and represent Portugal. Nkunku representing France. But this formation, this system that we're playing right now, suits Nkunku a lot. I could see him becoming a good player in this system. Still needs to work hard though. Still needs to work very hard off the ball, and that's where he lacks. But in recent times, I think he started to do that a bit better than what he was doing previously. But look, the bottom line, if they are not happy to be rotational pieces, move them on. Well, Renato Veiga wants to be a starter. You're not going to be a starter. Levi Colwell, Chalobah, Tosin. We're maybe adding a new defender. Maybe Chalobah leaves. I don't want him to leave. We can talk about that in a different video. But Renato Veiga is not going to be a starter. So if Bayern Munich, if you're interested, pay up. I think Renato Veiga's price is something around 25 million or 30 million, something like that. That's a good bit of business. Make a nice profit. Nkunku as well. Stump up the money. And we can move things on. So we've still got a lot of money to be made, and I'm very, very positive we're going to get another attacker and potentially another defender as well, centre-back. On top of that, Gerald Hato as well, don't forget. So let's see. Still a lot of business to be done. Red Bull Leipzig and Stuttgart have both expressed their interest in Chelsea forward Armando Broja. Another bit of business. I can't believe he's still around, man. Look, I still believe in him. I thought he was going to be a monster for us. Injuries have killed his career at Chelsea, and now we need to part ways. He needs to find, some sort of balance elsewhere. And maybe Bundesliga is the right place to go. Leipzig and Stuttgart, why not? Why not? Why not? Leipzig, maybe Sesko might move on. Armando Broja could be an opportunity. But I'd like to watch and see what he does, man. I hope he stays injury-free. And wherever he goes, I want to monitor exactly how he's going, because I feel like he's still going to become a very, very good footballer. There's a lot of good quality about him. I know a lot of you guys might say, oh, Miz, this is just your, Chelsea Academy bias coming into play. No, I truly think there is a lot of good quality in regards to Armando Broja. We'll see wherever he lands up. There's a bit of pure profit to be made there as well, and we'll monitor his development down the track. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke of, especially in regards to this whole notion of you can't talk about the owners and directors anymore because they've proven that we're winning trophies. I think we still have every right to our opinions. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya. Bye.